in the sticks of southeastern Kentucky, I have to ask myself the question, should I get a refund for my prepared V3 or not? That's the question. You see, I'm getting less sanguine about being a beta tester than I once was. If I buy a product, I expect it to work right out of the box. Not to have to tweak the shit out of a purchase just because it isn't quite right, just so it kind of works as advertised. Now, I definitely buy by word of mouth from those that I have come to respect and trust. That only makes sense. But I gotta add, now that we are in the weeds of P3D-ness, I'm asking myself if I should just sit back and let others slug it out, just to get back to where they were with V2.x. Should I be on the bleeding edge, or should I be a dropout? To simply enjoy the fruits of the labors I did participate in getting V2.x up and running, but remembering the painful quirks and ins and outs of partially working and compatible downloadable add-ons that make up the flight simming experience. Well, that is where I am with prepared V2.5. It is mostly a terrific aviation experience, if I don't push the envelope too far. Read, push the sliders too far to the right. After all, my rig is just a 6 gigabyte i7-2600K overclocked to 4.5 gigahertz and the measly NVIDIA GTX 772 gig vid card. So what, in all reasonableness, can I expect? I don't personally know. I've mostly only heard from others who have reported the most common downsides of prepared V2.x because, well, I fly differently than most others. I'm more interested in improving my skills, of understanding of and in aviation. So I spend my sim time learning and training rather than having a destination. Therefore, I've rarely run into the dreaded ding of the OOM-dom, that out-of-memory, horrible bell. Though I've read far too many reports to discount its existence. Should I get a V3 refund? And then, once all the Meshuggah, not ready yet, but for sure coming soon, sim-busting, blue screening version 1.0 prepared V3 add-on updates are fixed and working, because they're not 1.0 anymore, they're 1.x. They're realities and not promises. So should I wait until then and then buy it again? And only then rejoin the fray? I'm feeling torn between both 2.x and V3, mostly because of the contrived Randazzo edict. I paid for the FSX version of the incredible PMDG 737 NGX and then 777. And then begrudgingly paid for the P3D versions because he had crippled the FSX version. And now I must decide where to house the most advanced and important additions to my simulator, the almost but not quite raison d'etre of my simming life, and Mr. R has decreed that he will neither let T7 nor the NGX live in both V2 and V3 worlds simultaneously. Maybe I'm getting old. Ruefully, truthfully, yeah, I am. But does that mean that I'm stepping back from the bleeding edge to a degree? Yeah. I find as days progress that I'm becoming less willing to invest my time in disappointment. Does that make me a curmudgeon? Not if the first definition is the one we receive first as we highlight the word and press the define button, I'm on an iPad, and are shown surly and bad-tempered. No, I don't think I fit that definition. If, however, curmudgeon is defined on the wikihow.com article, Become a Curmudgeon, as the article leads off, a curmudgeon is an independent thinker that goes against the grain. A contrarian, although they can ruffle feathers. Willing to tick everyone off to voice their stance on an issue. Perhaps, as I exhort the neighborhood kids to get off my grass, I find myself leaning towards curmudgeonliness. Curmudgeonality, as defined in the above piece. So where am I going with this? I guess I'm looking to receive some vouchsafe from a few of my rumblings. A high five on some, but not all of my points. We at Avsim are way too diverse for me to expect a consensus. No, perhaps I could wish for at least a validation of the few, of the curmudgeonality crew. Or maybe I just need to blow off steam. No pun intended. Well, there wasn't until I decided to capitalize the S. Should I? Is there a valid reason to get a refund for prepared V3 and just wait, say, 6 months before repurchasing that stalwart attempt at aviation improvement? Is there honestly any smart reasonableness to bleed on the edge? Again, I've been there and back. As the Xers and millennials say in the day, in the real network admin world, I spent so many sleepless nights back then troubleshooting, twiddling, tweaking, installing, reinstalling, researching, listening, reading the well-meaning, albeit oft-misplaced suggestions of others, calling tech support, gently pleading, and then demanding a solution to a problem that shouldn't be there in the first place. And now I play, nay, my God, not play, learn in the venue of flight simulation, unpaid for the same activity. Is it really worth it? Should I hang my head? Should I, as an Avsimmer and flight simmer of 30-plus years, feel ashamed of not participating in the good fight? Am I less than a sterling sim aviator for sitting back and waiting for the young pups in deed and in heart to emerge bloodied and grinning from the trenches of incompatibility, real or contrived, some months later, thinking that they were victorious? Do I also need to be bruised? Once more, declaring with my simulation confederates the successful end, the conclusion of the fight of the version skies, knowing in my heart that struggle will never end. nor will the vagaries of software and hardware simulation pugilistics. Maybe I should throw aside my smelling of new ink issue of AARP, turn my back on the tablet, the keyboard, the screen in the cockpit, and just pick up my brandy new granddaughter to play the fool for a while. Just the rambling queries of a curmudgeonly, old but still kicking man. Regards, comma, new paragraph, Chaz.